You are listening to a production of
STUNNA MADODA KHUPHUKA.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take 1. Take 2.
Action!
Second leg of the dilemma, and this time it has a feminine touch. Welcome to the take of it all. And the take of it all really is, what is the standard? Last week, we had our men's forum to give us their take on the types of beauty standards that we have in society, driven by different prompts and obviously their own opinions. This time, we have our women's take to give us just a different perspective. We're not going to dive much into it about the context as it was covered in part 1. I would like this to flow from that, but also just fall into what your take is, having been here in this conversation, right? So welcome, ladies. Bafazi. As I say, we have Abafazi, guys. I'm so excited. And I'm not being biased because I'm just a woman, but kind of as a thing, I love having women around me, so that's really great. I hope we can have a fruitful conversation onto what is the standard. So beauty standards exist within society. They are shaped by experiences. They are shaped by social media. They are shaped by even our own volitions and opinions. Obviously by other things as well, right? But we had different prompts from the family and friends of the take to give us what their short take is to drive our conversation, right? And the first one we had was, they are misogynistic in nature and they are used to fuel the capitalist machine. Here's my take. What's yours?
My take is as follows. We live in a capitalist society. Capitalism relates to the market economy. It relates to commodification. And capitalism is a totalizing institutional force. This means that it extends its reach throughout your life and into the most personal aspects of yourself. Beauty and aesthetic appreciation are not immune from this, and you yourself are not immune from commodification. And when we attach a monetary value or a market value to aesthetic appreciation, what ends up happening is that beauty standards become commoditized. And in this, it takes away your agency, because instead of beauty like makeup, like a type of clothes you wear, like how you choose to present yourself, instead of that being of your own volition, it becomes a matter of, I need to do this in order to attain social capital. I need to do this in order to be treated better by men and people at large. And I think that the solution is not the abolition of beauty, but rather the decommodification of beauty to take it back to agency and personal choice.
Agency and personal choice is quite interesting, because last week we ended on a note of acceptance, in just accepting how your own beauty is expressed, right? Obviously it might not be the same conclusion we have, but a great touch that we had was the fact that with this commodification, we have a great line of consumerism that keeps adding on to beauty standards. While beauty is commodified in some instances, don't you think that we add on to it as well through consumerism? I mean, it's not to say that we don't love the beauty products that we have, but we keep contributing towards them, even though some of them are not made for us. They're not made within our rights, economic bracket even. Even at the same time, we also want to encourage the fact that people should buy makeup, people should do their hair and everything. And it's quite a push and pull, especially when you have now voices coming in saying that, oh, I love a woman with makeup on, oh, I don't love a woman with makeup on. No, makeup is overrated, makeup is not overrated. It's a lot of different things. And then now how does this consumerism element come in,
I I think my take would to piggyback off Talia, we definitely contribute to this capitalistic nature of the beauty industry, of beauty standards as well, because what we also need to understand is that beauty standards, they sit at the intersection of capitalism, of patriarchy, and of racism. Right. So capitalism, you find that the beauty industry, they play off of our insecurities.
That's true.
You'll see an ad that says, listen, this foundation hides all your, hyperpigmentation, your pimples. And then maybe my hyperpigmentation was never a problem in the past. But now I see this ad and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I should cover up my pimples, my hyperpigmentation, my discoloration or whatever. And then I go in and I purchase it. And I purchase this at a ridiculous price. So we also contribute to that, but in contributing, we do so involuntarily. Like it's a system that's being created against women of all races, of all colors. And we feed into the system without even realizing it.
So my take is that we're feeding into a system, yes, but I think for beauty to be acknowledged as beauty, it comes from a woman and her place in life. Like, for a woman, makeup isn't just something you can just put on your face and just go. As much as makeup is expensive, you will walk into Clicks knowing that you came for one thing and you'll leave with a million things. That's because for a woman, there's a certain joy that comes with the enhancement of your beauty. Like, it's not just about consumerism or anything, but women feel their best when they look good. Women feel their best when they smell good. There's so much that goes into it, and I think consumerism can be one thing, but also makeup isn't just supposed to be for insecurities. I don't know. I've just never viewed it in that sense. Makeup, skincare, perfume, clothing. Spend that money. It's okay. Yes, we live in a capitalist society. There's nothing we can change about it. You're right. We're in a cycle. But viewing it from the perspective of that, we're feeding into our insecurities and trying to cover up the things that we're supposed to be covering up. It's never supposed to be like that. Makeup is supposed to be something that's supposed to enhance your features. Lashes are supposed to give you that cat eye look, naturally China or something. Perfumes are supposed to make you feel like when you walk into a room, the presence that you bring into that room is the scent you're going to use. That scent is going to remind people that, oh, Shumelo was here. That's the one thing. Look at us all wearing earrings, jewelry, and all these things. These are the things that make us pop out. Like, I can tell from your personality that the pearls in your earrings are, I don't know, you just give off very divine feminine, there's stuff like that. And I just think when we look into the beauty standard and how misogynistic and patriarchal it is, let's not forget that beauty was made for women. Like, this is what we invest in ourselves. This is the one thing that men can't take away from us.
I mean, she's right. I do enjoy a little getting ready with me.
Exactly.
I do enjoy. I was actually saying something. Someone said, "Oh, bathing is such an extreme sport." I was like, I hear that, man. But once I'm done and I feel refreshed and I've taken my everything shower and I'm putting on my makeup, I'm putting on my hair, there's perfume, I feel really good. And for me, in that way, it's not a direct protest, but in moving that way, it is some sort of protest against the capitalist machine, right? Because while you have set these beauty standards as a way of still embedding yourself as a capitalistic system, I'm using the same beauty standards that you set to better myself, to empower myself, right? So it's as if they're not affecting me at all. I like that take, right? And I think it goes very well into another take that we had, that because in that sense, we are trying to empower ourselves, better ourselves. This also makes us think about how we navigate in this world, right? How we navigate our relationships, how we navigate our feelings. And they said that our relationship with beauty standards shape how we navigate and connect with the world. What's your take?
So my take on navigation with beauty standards and how that shapes how we move into the world. So I'm a person who was really, 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 really imprisoned by beauty standards. I am a child who I grew up big boned. So from a young age, I was told, cover up. You can't show that. Walk around like this. No, fix that. As a dark-skinned child, when you enter the world as a dark-skinned child, it's very mean to you. Because you enter that, the one that has a clear skin, the one who's light skin is very beautiful. So I used to walk around in the world feeling very insecure, feeling like, nobody likes me. And then I got into a romantic relationship. I got into a romantic relationship. The dude had to do a lot to make me feel that I'm beautiful. Because at home, I didn't feel like I'm beautiful. And and then he even told me that there's a reason why crop tops are made your size. There's a reason why crop tops are XXL for you to wear it. So I navigated that relationship of self-love, self-discovery, because as Utlumelo also said, that beauty standards are built on your insecurities. So I kind of protested it by wearing what wasn't made for me. Yeah.
It's
I think my take on beauty standard is very I feel it's almost like a dual system where it exists both internally and externally. Where the external is what, as Tyler said, the capitalist nature of it. The fact that the way I view it most of the time is mainly on the racism part of it. Where most of these beauty standards, especially for Black women, they were not made for us. Right? The society we live in is very white hegemonic and built on white supremacy. So it was sort of like a structure that was never meant for Black women, just at its core basis, and how that interlinks with the capitalist aspect of trying to buy your way into something that was never created for you. And then my other aspect of it is the agency part of it, which is the internal part of it, where it's like, yes, the world didn't mean this for you, but there's something inherent within you. There's a dignity that resides within you that you either meeting those beauty standards or not meeting them cannot take away from you. It's inherent within your personhood. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's my take.
interesting. I just wanna go back to what Leonela was saying. You said that you didn't have to confront these beauty standards until you got into a romantic relationship. Just coming from this prompt on how we navigate and connect with the world, it's funny how beauty standards we become aware of beauty standards when someone else actually speaks up about them or makes you essentially come into that space that would have to interrogate them, question sometimes, be comfortable. Is it the fact that we only become, or rather, let me pose it like this: did you only become aware of beauty standards when they were introduced to you, or through your own experience without interaction with other people? Because I feel that a lot of my direction in terms of beauty standards came definitely with how they were introduced to me. Social media, for one. I grew up around a lot of brothers. I've never had to really care for how I look. I don't want to be biased at this, but men are really rough. They really don't care. We can walk around with our knees scraped. Your face can be dusty as hell. I mean, we are now growing up. As you grew up, you move into that sense of you want to take care of yourself. But growing up, I was just a girl, the only girl with a lot of brothers. And I didn't have to question if my braids looked okay, if my skin was fine, how I carried myself, am I lady, am I feminine? I was just me, right? And I don't even think I was masculine either, which is so interesting because people are like, oh, is that why you have this tomboy aspect too? I never even thought I was tomboy until someone said I was tomboy, which was so weird for me because I was just always myself, right? And then it was introduced to me. Then all of a sudden, I'm telling my mom, I need to go comb my hair. I need to go have ponytails in my hair. I need more dresses. Maybe I should start having pink. All these things. So is it because beauty standards were introduced to you by others, or was it always something you then experienced yourself?
For me, it was introduced to me because my definition of beauty standards is how I present myself in a space. So how I used to present myself in a space is wearing all of these baggy clothes. But when I was at home, in my kai, I wore shorts. And then my trainer was like, you can't wear shorts. Not you. Everybody else can. But like, you have big thighs, so you can't walk around like that. And then that's when I saw, oh, okay, so you're saying I'm not beautiful enough to wear this.
Yeah.
So it was basically an introduction, essentially. I think this one is also close to my heart because I think for me it was an introduction from home. Like, I don't even know how to put it, but my mom is a lady. Like, my mom is a lady. She spends money on clothes. She is a borderline shopaholic. No bang 50 rand. But also and I think that fed into a lot of who I am today. My mom is light skinned, number one. She's very petite but shaped. Like, she's very properly shaped. And so the minute you start gaining weight, she'll pick up on it. There's so much that goes into how you guys live with your parents and the things that they say and how they shape you and the things that come into your mind. So when I started going to school, when I was in grade 4, I changed schools and I went to a private school. Now, I'm coming from a school in the township. I'm going to a private school where there's kids with housewife parents, and my mom is a single mom who's working 10 times more. And now it's a thing of, just besides beauty standards, oh my gosh, your shirt is a bit yellow. Isn't your mom using this kind of soap? It's that constant thing of, and I used to be bullied a lot for that. Like, oh my gosh, you're so big. Are you okay? And you'd be bullied for having big bums in grade 5. Guys, I don't know what I'm supposed to say, supposed to do. Puberty is getting the best out of me. When you start your period, it's, oh my gosh, you're starting your period. Oh my gosh, your skin is breaking out. Oh my gosh. It's a constant cycle of, okay, now that my mom has introduced this to me and I've already started feeling insecure at home, it's leaking into school. And now you don't know whether or not how to balance it out. Because now it's a thing of, let me mix turmeric so that my skin can come back to
turmeric.
Let me mix turmeric so that I can come back to my complexion, which isn't even my complexion because now I'm fighting to be light skinned and I'm not light skinned. Like, my mom would even make my mom would even take like a sack of oranges and scrub me and my brother because we took our dad's complexion. Like, no, guys, you guys need to be light skinned. And it's a thing of, no, this is my shade. This is how things are going to be. When I was 16, she started buying me makeup. Okay. Now she'd buy 3 shades lighter. And she'd always be like, you know what? No, it's just blend it. Blend. And you'd be like, but it's not blending. I don't know if
this is on my skin.
I don't know if you're getting it. But until I actually sat her down and I told her that you make me feel so insecure. Like, I didn't have to go through this at school as much as you've made it a big thing here at home. And I gain weight, it's an issue. I get skinny, it's an issue. If I'm not wearing a certain size, my mom used to look at our clothes. Why are you changing from 9 to 10 to 13 to 14 in the space of like 2 months? I don't know, girl. Like, maybe I'm 16. I'm growing. I don't know. Maybe this is a growth sprout, but she wouldn't understand those kind of things. And I think it also stems from her childhood and being raised by a lady. But it's just things like that just make it so difficult for us to navigate through like society. But I didn't really have a problem in like school. Not my better shame. Like,
what's interesting is that your story is it's so related to my mother's story. Interesting, not my story. And I think that's how it influenced how my mom interacts with me. So as I was saying, I grew up, I didn't really care how I looked, everything, brothers and all. Mom let me be in that, right? Which is weird because she like your mother. My mom is a lady. Guys, if you ever meet my mom, she is the ladiest ladies of them all. She loves getting ready. She loves perfume. She loves earrings. She loves handbags. She loves doing her hair, right? Never really big on makeup. She always feels like, lip liner, got it, I'm good, let's go, right? But she was always that lady. And I always used to ask myself, my mom was like this, why aren't I like this? And then I had a conversation with her. And she's like, I never really wanted to introduce you to all of this because I, from a young age, was pressured to feeling a certain type of way about myself, right? My mom, even though she was the eldest daughter, let me say that, right? She was the eldest daughter in the family, and when she started her period, she obviously was experiencing body changes. My mom started her period when she was 9 years old, and so that made her grow up quite like faster than a lot of people. She matured faster. Her body started changing, and her mother used to make her feel very small for it. It's like, oh, why are your breasts big? You know. And for a long time, my mom had been saying that, oh, I feel like I have the biggest breasts ever in the world. And I was like, girl, I see nothing. You know, like this is not anything. And then she's like, even when I started forming curves, right? It is something that's biological. That a lot of our women, a lot of the women on my mother's side are more curvier. And then she's like, but mine would form even wider than a lot. And even the curvy women used to say, no, why are you like this? Like, you know, maybe stop eating as much. And she said, I never really wanted to put you at that point because I know what it did to me. She's like, I am over 50 years old and I still think about that. And it made me think about how if I was never introduced to that, would I even had the conception of beauty standards in the first place, right? It's only at a later stage that I started. Funny enough, I always said, I don't want to become like my mom, but I really did stop becoming like my mom. Now I want tiny bags. Now I really want to go do my nails. Now I want to do every single thing that is of a woman, right? But I think I was welcomed very well into it by my mother because of her experience quite similar that she had from you. So it's a thing of now beauty standards are not being passed on. They stopped at some point and a point of acceptance. And I think this goes really well into our fourth prompt, right?
Before we can I just add?
Yeah.
Before the fourth prompt. So just like you and Noah, my mom's a diva.
Yo, that's my mom's
My mom is a diva. My mom was walking here with heels.
The highest heel of the four.
And she will be judging you and why can't you walk in heels?
Oh, girl.
A random
This
day.
is my life. She will always ask, but I was like,
Exactly.
like, what is your
Like
problem?
random dead home practice walking heels when diva. And I have an older sister who very much gave into the diva lifestyle. She's a diva herself. So I always grew up
Under her shadow.
yeah, so beauty standards were really introduced to me at a very, very young age. Same with Yanela, my understanding is how you present yourself to the world. And you have to present yourself in a certain way, according to my mom. So even if you're going to like spa to get like the most random stuff, fucking lipstick. Yeah. My mom says, comb your hair. Hey, you're gonna leave like that. Oh, dude. And now you start thinking, I thought I was fine.
Yeah.
I thought I was okay. No, put on some mascara. You understand? And then like when you go to church, it's like, no, you need to represent me. Wear this. Like your whole outfit is planned out for you, literally from how you're gonna comb your hair to the products you're gonna put on your face, the mascara, the eyeliner, So I always grew up like that. And then only when I got to varsity did I start negotiating, I guess, with beauty standards on my own terms. So, okay, this is what I was taught. This is what was instilled in me. But how do I want to present myself to the world?
I'm alright.
I just want to add, because I feel like as we're all having this conversation, I've noticed like this common thread where our parents have sort of like embarked on this form of patriarchal bargaining in the sense where it's like, in a weird way, they think by doing these things to you, they're protecting you from the harsh and cruel world. Does that make sense? Where you live in a world, in a society that fundamentally, it's going to sound really weird, hates black women, right? Especially dark-skinned black women. So you have these mothers and these parents who encourage skin lightening, who encourage presenting yourself a certain way as a form of way for them to protect their daughters from what they view as a greater evil than themselves. A sort of like grooming process before you go out into the world that's going to treat you harshly. Because we all know that until recently, I mean, even still now, the world isn't very kind to dark-skinned black women. The world is cruel, right? Especially to black women. And the, curvier the shape, if you don't fit that certain mold of woman, who realistically no one actually fits. But if you don't at least come close to it, there's a certain danger posed onto your life, even to the point where even after death, right? Like I'm thinking about the way who's that lady? Sarah Botman was treated, right? So yeah, I just find that fascinating where it's like we have this common thread of mothers who inflict this harm on their daughters, thinking that by inflicting it, it somehow makes them stronger for the world that they perceive to be more evil than the evil that they're inflicting on them.
You know what's interesting, and I got let me just, because I want to forget this, right? I'm getting a bit emotional when Chwela said I had to start negotiating with beauty standards and university, right? As much as I love my mom and she didn't as much contribute towards my conception of beauty, that there are little things that she does, and I think about them when now I have to come back to university, right? So I remember over VAC, I have this two-piece that I bought online, right? And I wore it on my birthday as my first starter outfit before my main outfit. And it's like small tank top, it ties up to the neck, like a halter neck, and like track pants, right? And then the way in which, obviously, I had tied them, that, you know, like track suit pants, you can tie them to be really tight, and then you can tie them to just be loose, right? The first question that came out of my mom's mouth was, "Are you really gonna tie your track pants that tight?" And I was like, "Yes, awesome." And then she was like, they're showing too much. Like, just let loose a bit. I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "No, people are gonna look at you." I'm like, "But why? Why was that the question? Why are people looking? Why can't I just present myself in that sense?" Then I come back to university. I'm like, you know what, guys? One thing that I've realized, and this might not be the same experience for everyone, but a lot of university, like, people don't care.
They do.
Like, people don't care. Like, we're all just trying to go through, man. Like, we really just trying. And then I wore the same outfit, right, when I came back. Meeting up with my girls. My mom saw the videos that we were taking. I was posting on my status. And she's like, "Hi, boy, you know, thing tight." I was like, "You know, Mama, interestingly, no one said anything. And it's okay. Like, do I really have to now step into that type of thought that you're already trying to give me? No." And you know, she was like, "Okay, Kotula, here." She came back 2 days. My mom always follow up on stuff. She came back 2 days and she's like, "You know what? Be the way that you want to be. I'm just saying the way we grew up." I was like, "You see, now that's the difference. The way you grew up, the way I grew up, is very different." And I think beauty standards are now taking different forms through different eras and different ages. And so now, do you want to navigate your beauty standards according to a past area or where you are now? You know, Talia, you're saying.
I've been listening to everyone's contributions, and to me, what seems really interesting is this common thread of socialization, specifically primary socialization in your household, and how this has affected your own conception of beauty. And I have a very strange experience in respect of this. My mother is not a traditional lady. In fact, she's very unfeminine in many ways. She'll wear men's jackets. She'll just wear plain jeans and like a button-up shirt. She'll wear hiking boots. She barely wears makeup. And I guess growing up, I didn't really have this sense of womanhood being femininity. In fact, I'm not even sure what sense of it was for me. I had a very different sense of womanhood. But at the same time, in terms of me personally, I don't know if this is societal pressure. I don't know if this is just my own volition, but I kind of implicitly want to express myself a bit more femininely compared to my mother. I do in fact want to do my brows, my mascara, my eyeliner, etc., etc. But I almost felt like a sense of shame in doing it because of my own socialization, just in the sense that my mother has fought really hard to kind of break the mold and be her own person. And then am I not like taking a step back because I have different preferences or different ways of doing things? I think that I very much became like cognizant that beauty was a thing and that it would somehow affect me. Look, I'm trans. I transitioned at a very young age. Medical intervention, the whole everything. But I think that when my appearance started changing, like very markedly, because of like hormonal intervention and stuff, And I noticed that I was actually being treated better and with more respect. That's kind of when I realized, wait, beauty standards really are a thing. And they almost have this sort of imposing force on you where ideally it would just be self-expression, but at the same time, it feels like it's more than self-expression. It feels like social capital where you need to do small adjustments or large adjustments to kind of find your way into having a place in this society.
Yeah.
Can I say something? You see, when you said that you have a preference for doing your brows, doing your eyeliner, your mascara, I think it's very important to note that it's your preference. Like, you are not taking anything away from your mom. As much as she tried to make you an individual, you still are an individual. You are very much your own person. And you having a preference it's not necessarily like holding your mom back or holding you back in anything. I think preference is the ability to have a privilege of something. Like it's being spoiled for choice. It's knowing that I prefer this over this. And to be able to say that, like, okay, instead of just being barefaced today, let me just do like a soft, I don't know, glam or whatever. Like the preference of just wanting to feel a certain way. Because I'm pretty sure when you put on that mascara, you're like, yeah, it's go time. When other days, okay, you know what I've actually realized? I'm so sorry, I just derailed. But you know what I've realized? It's that, like, lashes, for instance. When we put on lashes and we accentuate ourselves and we become so, I don't know about you guys, but like when you do lashes and there's just that,
The lift, you have a face
and then your skin starts glowing. And now you look so clean. And then next week you're tired of these lashes. Or even the same night, you're just like, Yazin.
Off.
And now you see your real face and you're like, no, wait. I need those lashes back. I think, and yeah, I said that these things accentuate our beauty and that they make us feel much prettier. They make us feel some sort of feminine way. But at the same time, they're low-key detrimental to the confidence that we have in our natural selves. Like, think about a 3-year-old. A 3-year-old is so cute and innocent with just Vaseline, guys. Like, there is no need for that child to have lipstick or anything of that sort. And the innocence of that is so beautiful because here I am with lashes that I don't even like. I paid 700 Rand for them. They're not lifting my face the way they did. And I'm just not happy. But like, that child is so cute, so innocent. Vaseline. Okay, sometimes I wish we could go back to that.
I think now, does anyone have any other take on this? Because that would fall really well into the fourth take that we had, that such things are conventional and it is premised on the fact that they become problematic. Why I'm saying it fits well with that is that you spoke about how now even these beauty products or beauty items that we use accentuate our beauty, and we have to live through them, right? We accept them, we love them. It's really nice getting ready and doing your lashes, doing your nails, your brows, everything. But they take away from ourselves and our confidence, right? Like, for example, I for a long time, you know how everyone wears shorts, like short shorts? Yeah, I struggled.
Same.
Struggled with wearing short shorts. And not because of like, oh, what other people are gonna say, but it's like, God, I'm from a family that the women are curvy. Now, this is how you start from the top, and then by the knees down. Our legs are much thinner than a lot of people, right? And I think like people recognize that, oh, okay, but then your legs are like thinner. I was like, okay, now if I start wearing shorts, it's gonna look fine from the knee up, and then someone else is gonna look from the knee down, and then I don't at all. And I think it took away so much from me because I always said maybe let me like try to have like thicker lower legs, right? And then now my gym motivation is no longer that simple gym motivation I had in the beginning. Now I'm training my quads more than anything in the whole world. Like And then at some point I stopped and I was like, wait. What was the aim in the first place, right? Then I obviously had to like go back to my regular gym program. That was great. And then my mom bought me a short. I wore that short. And for the first time, I felt confident in that short. Right? Not because of what other people would have said, not because of any other aspect of it. I felt confident because I looked at myself and I thought, yeah, you know what? Maybe I do have thin legs. That's cool. Let's go. You know? And then funny enough, when I went out that way and I was confident in being myself without any other thing influencing it, people started also receiving me in that sense. You look so good in shorts, girl. Why don't you wear shorts anymore? Like, why don't you wear shorts more? Do this. You know, I love to see you in a skirt. Do this more, do that. And then I started obviously evolving. Then I put more skirts and I started appreciating shorter things. And then I realized maybe I shouldn't conform to what was exposed to me, but how I feel in that sense. And when you speak about the confidence, don't you think it should be us coming back to ourselves?
Yeah.
You know, us coming to what does Uyonela want? What does Khumelo want? You know, what does Uwami want? Like, what do you want? You know, a form of acceptance.
Add on to the thing about the shorts. So, adding on to what everyone said, really, this Uyonela when she said that she's always told what to wear, what not to wear. So growing up, obviously bigger child, still am fairly on the bigger side. So there were a lot of things that I was told you can't wear. You shouldn't wear this. Tight clothes were out of the picture for me. They've always been. So then grad, I decided, you know what? Because now I've negotiated beauty standards. Because now it's like, no man, I'll do what I want to do. So I wear a tight dress. I get this tight dress out of a bodycon dress.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling good. I'm like, yes, I feel good. This is me. I love it. We take the photos come back, and everything just crashes down. And I'm like, I hate it. I shouldn't have done this. I can't post these photos. Why? And at this point, Mama's like, yeah, I told you. Yeah. Why? And then now the whole thing, oh my word, I was feeling so confident, but now. And then you see other people posting their grad photos and everyone looks so snatched and good. And then all that negotiation that I had done to feel confident, gone. Gone. So just adding on the thing about the shorts and feeling confident in certain clothes, it's tough.
Yeah.
Even when you do build the confidence, there comes a time where it just crashes down. And then you're thinking, hey, but why was I even confident in this? Why did I think I could rock this dress, rock this? I did end up posting the photos though.
Yeah.
Just like how
Thank you.
The shorts. I ended up posting the photos and I didn't receive any negative comments that I thought I would receive, right? Which also goes to show that beauty standards are very much internalized and we suppress ourselves in trying to fit in, we create our own mold. And we think the world has created it, but we've created it. Because no, Tala didn't say, Chwela, you look ugly in that dress. No, I thought that. I created those thoughts. I thought no, I was going to say
No, girl.
But you understand. So yeah, it's tough.
Just to add on what she's saying, right? Because when she said that she had negotiated with the beauty standards, I started to think in terms of like, how far can you negotiate with something that's structural? Does that make sense? It's like saying I negotiated with capitalism, that's why I can drive a Bentley. Because I'm not denying the fact that, like, again, I said it's internal and external, but you can have an internal agency and decision of why you want to wear that dress, for example, right? But then it's also like simply partaking in beauty standards without critical thought is reinforcing them. Because why do you want to wear that tight dress? Does that make sense? Women have been wearing tight dresses, like, it still sexualizes you. Does that make sense? Where it's like you're wearing a tight dress that shows off your body, that is, even though for you in your agency it's I look hot, but externally it's like it's fits the male gaze.
100%.
Does that make sense?
100%.
So I'm like, I agree with the notion of self-agency. I'm a big self-agency person where it's like, it's your life. You get to decide how you live it. Does that make sense? You get to decide what you'll partake in and what you won't partake in. But it's also like, in that self-agency, it requires a sort of level of thought where it's like, even the fact that like when you do lashes and you take them off and then there's a sense of insecurity there. It's like, yes, I engaged with putting on lashes because it makes me feel confident, makes me feel hot, I feel great, you know? But it's also like, now what's the downside of that? How does that actually impact your internal? Yes, it validates your external, but what does it do to your internal world where, yeah.
I mean, please add on to what you're saying because it's really interesting. And I also want to touch on what you said about white supremacy earlier because I think it's very important. There's this adage that, you know, people always say beauty is pain. You hear this a lot.
Yeah.
But I also think there's a corollary. And that corollary is that beauty is violence. Structural violence in a sense. Because these are external standards being imposed on you. If agency will always be in tension with institutions, and we can regard beauty as an institution or a social force. So we can negotiate that and we can exercise our agency to some extent, but there is a certain degree of structural violence that will affect you emotionally in terms of your self-perception. And Chwela, what you were saying about how you felt about yourself in that dress, it's like that is very much like a product of these social standards being violently forced onto you against your will. And you don't deserve to have that train of thought at your graduation, at what's meant to be a great moment in your life. And it's just so fundamentally wrong that it happens. And in terms of like beauty and white supremacy, beauty disproportionately privileges white women. And South Africa, even though South Africa is in Africa, is not immune to it. Firstly, because of the legacy of apartheid. Secondly, because globalization still very much privileges whiteness as a whole. And because globalization is, in a way, simply a flavor of neocolonialism. I mean, we had that super problematic Clicks advert a few years ago. I don't know if you remember that. Oh my gosh, you just took me back. Oh, I'm so angry. I remember being so angry. Yeah. And even some of like the founders of like the major beauty brands, like Chanel, for instance, Coco Chanel was a literal Nazi. She was a virulent white supremacist. And so many of these early people, like in the world of beauty, were white women who were not only kind of in cahoots with the patriarchy, but also very much supporting white supremacy because it supported them as white women. Yeah.
But you know what? I've always wanted to know. Like, I mean,
Give your take, That's your take.
do white women negotiate with beauty standards differently to us black women? I'd say. Because with us, it becomes such a wide range of things. There's your skin color, the shade of darkness. I mean, there's like how many black women here, but we're all different shades. Right? They becomes your weight. Because, you know, black women are naturally curvier and there's those things, right? So it becomes your hair.
Even your face, how your nose looks, how your forehead looks, how your lips look, how your eyes look.
You understand? So there's so much that we have to negotiate, right? Your nose looks weird, it's your hips, it's your hair, it's your cheeks. There's so much. But then with white women who have become the standard, is there a difference?
Common ground, actually.
Is there?
I think that thing you said about the face in terms of like, oh, what's the proportion of my nose? Like, how is like my face structure, stuff like that. I think that is very much the case. I also think that weight is quite a big deal. What I will say is that like white people hair is not as complex as like type 4B, 4C hair. This requires less maintenance. Literally all I have to do is like brush it, and there's less, I guess in that sense, there's almost less effort involved when it comes to hair. I don't think for white women hair is as big of a cultural symbol or kind of like as significant. But I have a question for you.
Okay.
what do you think that white people generally, or people who aren't Black, need to understand about the beauty standards for Black women? Okay.
I have.
You can go on.
I think white people need to understand that we can't change it. Like,
Okay.
we cannot change the fact that we are curvier. We cannot change the fact that we have coarse hair. We cannot change the fact that we can change the fact that we have coarse hair, but it's a temporary change. It's a
Very temporary.
very temporary change. There are certain things that are genetic. Like, even if it's not like inherently genetic, like it's something that runs in the family, but it runs in the Black womanhood, like just being a Black woman. So I think for me, I went to a very predominantly white private school, and if your tunic, I don't know if like everyone has this
Forefinger.
four fingers.
I remember high school was trauma.
And then at the back, if your bums are out. And unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about my BBL. There's nothing I can do about having a big fat butt. There's also nothing I can do about having a flat chest. But I think it's very much white people need to appreciate the Black woman. Like, I'm not saying that there's not enough appreciation, but there's a certain way to go about it. There's certain things that you cannot say to a child. Like in those schools, they'd always say like, your bums are out, you look like a slut, you do this, and it just diminishes a child, especially a child who's going into puberty. Like, if you hear things like that from older people, you're thinking, oh my gosh, now I must cover up because people are going to think I'm asking for it. Like, there's so much that goes into that. And I think just white people don't understand that there's things we can change and there's things we can't change. And there's things that you can say and things you can't say. And you should hold back. Sometimes, in school, they always taught us, if you have nothing nice to say,
Just
don't
keep
say
quiet.
it.
Like,
Shut your mouth. Just don't say it. And I just think people should exercise that
Also,
regularly.
I just want to add that I think white people need to understand that we aren't trying to be like them.
Yeah.
Or white women need to understand that Black women aren't trying to be like them.
Yeah.
So when I put on this wig, I'm not trying to look like a white woman. I don't want to look like a white woman. Right?
Yeah.
It's just what makes me feel confident in the moment.
Yup.
And my confidence, or what makes me feel confident, is not linked in any way, shape, or form to whiteness.
Right. What's interesting, right, for me, I wanted to say to your response is that if you can... Okay, let's bring it back to women. This is a women's forum anyway. I didn't want to be very biased towards women because I always want to be an objective host, but I am a woman. I mean, someone said last night that, oh, you're having a women's forum tomorrow. I'm like, yes. And they're like, you want to try to be objective? I'm like, yes. They're like, that's impossible. You're a woman. So let me bring it back, right? Cool. So for me, it's white women and Black women, if you want to relate to each other more than anything, use the fact that we're women as a starting point. Right? So white women, if they want to think about how Black women navigate beauty standards, they should think about how they navigate their own beauty standards against white men.
Yes.
Right? So how a white woman will try to fit a certain type of look for the white man is exactly how Black women are trying to do it for white people and Black men. So it's like now being Black twice. Right? So I think if you ever just want to relate, bring it back to that. So if, for example, I want to use names genuinely, right? So maybe there's Susan. And Susan is trying to prove to her husband, John, that, you know what, I feel that wearing this dress makes me look better, and maybe like straight hair, not my curly hair today. Think about how Black women are also just trying to like fight the fact that having curls in your hair sometimes is so problematic that when you have to go plait your hair, you probably have to straighten it. I mean, last week I was asking myself, okay, now I have to go plait my hair, but not only do I have to plait my hair, I need to now go blow dry my hair and straighten it so it can look more neater. Do things, type of thing. So now there's two things coming together. That's how we relate to one another. Other than just like now thinking, oh, Black women are trying to do this, Black women are trying to, even us, white women are trying to bring it back to the fact that you're a woman. And this is a woman's take, do you know? Yeah, I was saying that, you know what, let's just bring it back to the fact that we're women, right? But even in our female experiences, guys, it's just weird because last week it ended with, no, let's accept that they exist, but also accept ourselves. I think I'm just gonna take a bit from that, but also now then bring it to what we were saying, right? Beauty standards with this take, and even just how I feel about it, are embedded in everything. We cannot escape beauty standards. We will try to trump it. We will try to stop it. We can try to minimize it, but they are embedded in everything, essentially. I mean, you could, that's actually also debatable if they're embedded in everything, right? But for me, just having this conversation with different women and bringing back to the fact that women, number one, this has been healing. It has been so healing in so many ways because I get to see that we have the same experiences, just in different contexts, just at different times, right? Even so, we've also been having a little breaks, but with our little breaks, just having a conversation to see that, no, wait, I see myself in you. And, oh, I'm actually inheriting the fact that you were that angry, I'm angry with you. You know, and all these things that we feel. And I don't want to close off the conversation. I did say last week, if the third episode on what is the standard will be determined by how I feel, if I should bring men and women back, all right? I've made a decision. We are going to have it. Thank you, because they really are embedded in everything. Because the question still stands. What is the standard? Here's my take. What's yours?
Okay, that's a wrap.